So I'm live. Okay. This feels like a Saturday Night Live sketch all of a sudden. How you doing, everybody? It's Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow coming to you live from the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. That's in the North San Fernando Valley, if you know where that's at. And so for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, and you can join us every time we're live, which is Wednesday evenings, Sunday mornings at 10:30. Hit that notification bell, and you'll get a little reminder as well. So tonight's our Get Real and Heal meditation service, and I'm joined by one of our wonderful practitioners here at the center, Ms. Vinu Alag, and she will be joining us here shortly. But first, we're going to just take a moment to take a deep conscious breath as we bring down the lights here in the house, and just feel the exhale. And let's take another breath. Filling the lungs all the way up to the top, hold it, and then release. And then hold it at the end. And one more deep breath. Hold it. And release. And now on that final release, just releasing the cares and concerns of the day as we claim this time as our own. As we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And that fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Vinu lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. The second candle we light for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. And as Vinu lights the healing candle, remembering tonight this healing candle for Alex, Nathan, Kathy, Eileen, anyone seeking healing in any way, please put silently into the lights the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
Just staying here for a few moments longer with our breath, just in this beautiful space, knowing there is only one power, one presence, one universal consciousness, one all that is, knowing that we are each one with this divinity, one with love, one with harmony, one with peace. Knowing that we are each here by divine appointment tonight, that we are in the right and perfect place at the right and perfect time. What a beautiful opportunity to get still with ourselves, to listen to that still small voice within, to rest our bodies, to connect heart to heart. Knowing that tonight unfolds perfectly, that we receive what we need to receive, and that we leave here uplifted, our hearts filled with joy, love, connection. I'm so thankful to have this opportunity tonight. So thankful for Reverend Dr. Mike, who will lead us in our meditation, for our talented AV team who transports this throughout the ether so that those online can be with us here tonight and later on. I'm so grateful for each of you here in the sanctuary tonight. It is with this full and deeply grateful heart that I release my word to the law, knowing it is all done, knowing it is all love. And together we affirm this by saying, and so it is. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to those online and those here today. A special welcome to my cousin who's visiting from the East Coast. So I'd like to talk tonight a little bit about our talk title for the month, which is Discomfort in the Divine. So when we think about the divine, what do we think of? We think of some energy that is all-knowing, ever-present, everywhere within all of us. And I know for some it's still a hard pill to swallow, maybe not quite there with the I am one with the all that is. And then there are some of us who are faithful, espousing this notion of I am a unique and perfect expression of the divine. But regardless of where you are in that, life happens. And we butt up against these things, these areas of discomfort. Could be a life challenge, some type of suffering, even physical pain. And you may start to think, wait, perfect, whole, and complete. How can I be whole, let alone holy? If I were actually a unique and perfect expression of the divine, how could I experience these things that make me feel less than, imperfect, suffering maybe? But I think we get it wrong here a little bit. We think that being a perfect expression of the divine means that we do not have these human experiences. But what if we came here in this incarnation, in this physical form, and we come here forgetting a little bit, forgetting that divinity, so we can have this human experience. And so we can learn from these opportunities these circumstances that come our way? What if these situations are brought forth so that we can explore in deeper and deeper ways within? What am I here to learn? What am I here to do? Or what am I here to put aside? Can I show up with more love and allowance? Can I let life unfold? What if all of these experiences are here so that we can circle back to the knowingness of who we are? If we can circle back to that, I am divine. I am perfect, whole, and complete. What if these are just little obstacles thrown in our pathway so that we can create this greater and greater notion of who we truly are? Expressions of love, full expressions of life. I mean, it would be pretty boring if we came here and had nothing to do, nothing to learn, no expansion, no exploration. We'd just been hanging out in that space of energy, which is beautiful, but it's not the human experience. The human experience is here so that we can let go of all that other stuff that doesn't serve us and come back to that pure space of love, of joy, of freedom. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I'm suffering right now. You cannot tell me that I am going to find love and joy and freedom. So sometimes we need reminders from our teachers, from our friends, from our loved ones. I often turn to books. I turn to my teachers, the truth seekers, the light showers. So I'm going to share something from The Mastery of Love, Don Miguel Ruiz. He also wrote The Four Agreements. Some of you might know him from there. There's a chapter called God Within You. You are the force that plays with your mind and uses your body as its favorite toy to play and have fun with. That is the reason you are here, to play and have fun. We are born with the right to be happy, with the right to enjoy life. We are not here to suffer. Our own Ernest Holmes tells us the world has learned all it should through suffering. Surely there can be no intelligence in the universe that wishes men to be sick, suffer pain, or be unhappy. So when we falter, when we question, when we doubt, let's turn to these teachers to help them remind us that these are just little road bumps on our way to joy and freedom. Thank you. Thank you. So just a few announcements before I turn it over to Dr. Mike. Practitioners are available in the treatment room for a 2-minute tune-up. There are a couple of practitioners here today if anyone wants. The Law of Attraction group meets this Sunday, February 11th at 1 p.m. on Zoom. Email Emily for details at joyvibrations@gmail.com. There's a new class that just started, and you can still join, Mental Equivalent with Reverend Dr. Mike, Tuesday, February 13th at 6:30 p.m. Contact Melissa, our admin, to register. Children's beginning drums and beginning guitar, theater, and Tai Chi meditation are ongoing and open. If you would like to sponsor a child, please contact Reverend Nicole or Melissa. And last but not least, we still have Lake Tahoe opportunity drawing tickets available now. Drawing on Wednesday, February 14th. Contact Dr. Mike or Melissa for information. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinu. Nice job. We have a couple other announcements for those of you who are members of the center. On March 17th is our general meeting, and there'll be a potluck as well. And it will be a leprechaun-a-thon also. We'll have Karen Mitchell and her husband here will be here to do both the music and the message. They've just bought a home out in Wexford, out in the southeast of Ireland. So looking forward to that. Also, if you would like to join us in the class, you need to email me at revmike@CSLGH so I can get you the class materials, because you got about maybe 30 minutes of reading and a really great video to watch that takes about 20 minutes. So, stuff to do. If you're feeling stuck, you don't have to be anymore. So, and then for this month, for Signs of Mind magazine, a friend of the organization, Dr. Andriette Earle, is a minister up in the Oakland area. Let's see if they say, yeah, Center of Light in Oakland. She is a very dynamic speaker and teacher, so she has done the daily guides. And what's significant about that is that she has tied them to Black History Month and inspirational and also educational stories. So I wanted to share one of those with you. So we have about 30 people who got these magazines, because there are actually for 2 months now, so we're now sending out between 20 to 30 of these magazines within our own community. So if you haven't picked it up, check it out. There's some good stories in here. And can I get a little more light up here on the stage, please? So, you know, Abraham Lincoln, it's said that Abraham Lincoln kind of had to be talked into this idea of making the Civil War about slavery, that he came to it late in his presidency. But this quote here may dispute that when he wrote, "Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally." Ernest Holmes writes in The Science of Mind, "We need not coerce, we need not create this power, but we must let this great power operate through us." And then she shares this story. "I have heard that the number 7 is related to our spiritual journey and may foretell a spiritual awakening. I do not know whether this is so. I do know, however, that Harriet Jacobs' 7 years in hiding led to an amazing shift in her life and circumstances. Born enslaved in 1813, she suffered the trauma of being abused, sold, and moved between owners, giving birth, having her children enslaved, and witnessing some of them being sold. She had the utmost faith in God and believed God would be her rescuer. She relied on and exemplified an abiding faith that her condition and circumstances could and would change. Finally, she escaped." Now, what is most unique about Jacobs is that once free, she wrote incidents in the life of a slave girl, documenting her experience as a slave in North Carolina. She is the only woman known to have left papers testifying to her life while enslaved. Her autobiography stands as an essential slave narrative. Jacob suffered in her enslaved circumstance until she made the decision to be free. In June 1835, she escaped. For a short time, she found safe harbor with various black and white neighbors. When she realized she could not make it to freedom, she returned and hid in a crawl space above her grandmother's porch. She stayed there, self-imprisoned, under a tin roof, freezing cold in winter, sweltering in the summer, for 7 years. Then came a shift, an opening, through which she successfully escaped. Once in Rochester, New York, she became an active abolitionist. So Reverend Andriette writes, I am enriched and inspired by Jacob's perseverance and willingness to tell her story. The affirmation is, no longer imprisoned, I choose peace and freedom. So isn't it interesting that what strikes me about this story is the choice to hide in an attic, and if that's the only way you can experience freedom, I'd rather have that than being enslaved. At least I'm at choice for that. I don't know, it's the story kind of struck me. So then I thought I would share something out of Consolations, a book by David White. And this is entitled Forgiveness. And he writes, forgiveness is a heartache and difficult to achieve because, strangely, it not only refuses to eliminate the original wound, but actually draws us closer to its source. To approach forgiveness is to close in on the nature of the hurt itself. The only remedy being, as we approach its raw center, to reimagine our relation to it. It may be that the part of us that was struck and hurt can never forgive, and that strangely, forgiveness never arises from the part of us that was actually wounded. The wounded self may be part of us incapable of forgetting, and perhaps not actually meant to forget, as if, like the foundational dynamics of the psychological immune system, our psychological defenses must remember and organize against any future attacks. After all, the identity of the one who must forgive is actually founded on the very fact of having been wounded. Stranger still, it is that wounded, branded, unforgetting part of us that eventually makes forgiveness an act of compassion rather than one of simple forgetting. To forgive is to assume a larger identity than the person who was first hurt, to mature and to bring to fruition an identity that can put its arm not only around the afflicted one within, to put its arm not only around the afflicted one within, but also around the memories seared within us by the original blow, and through a kind of psychological virtuosity, extend our understanding to one who first delivered it. He continues, forgiveness is a skill, a way of preserving clarity, sanity, and generosity in an individual life. A beautiful way of shaping the mind to a future we want for ourselves. An admittance that if forgiveness comes through understanding, and if understanding is just a matter of time and application, then we might as well begin forgiving right at the beginning of any drama, rather than putting ourselves through the full cycle of festering, incapacitation, reluctant healing, and eventual blessing. To forgive is to put oneself in a larger gravitational field of experience than the one that first seemed to hurt us. We reimagine ourselves in the light of our maturity, and we reimagine the past in the light of our new identity. We allow ourselves to be gifted by a story larger than the story that first hurt us and left us bereft. We reimagine the past in the light of our new identity. We allow ourselves to be gifted by a story larger than the story that first hurt us and left us bereft. At the end of life, the wish to be forgiven is ultimately the chief desire of almost every human being. In refusing to wait, in extending forgiveness to others now, we begin the long journey of becoming the person who will be large enough, able enough, and generous enough to receive, at the very end, that absolution ourselves. I would just add that forgiveness, I have found forgiveness to be the ultimate healing. Of myself, or for myself, because in forgiveness is real freedom. And I think ultimately, when we think about all the things that we are striving for in our life, whether it's job satisfaction, connection in relationship, a sense of creativity, creating enough good in our life to live comfortably with a sense of security, maybe even a little luxury. That I think really what we're longing to experience is a sense of freedom. A sense of freedom with where we are, with who we are, in spite of whatever judgments we may have about ourselves or even about others. And I like this idea of David White saying that we have matured enough and have expanded our awareness enough, we've grown enough to have a bigger story than the one that we originally were hanging on to. So there's some stuff to think about. But for now, we're going to do a little meditation. I'm in the chair tonight. So I would encourage you just to kind of scoot your hiney back in the chair if you're at home or here in the room, and then And then just allow yourself to tuck your tailbone in underneath a little bit, and you'll feel the support in your lower back in the chair. And allow this to be the metaphor of feeling supported by the universe itself by means of this chair. Get all our giggles and jiggles and wiggles out. Just allow ourselves to be present in our body by starting with a deep conscious breath and release. So we begin by focusing our attention on the movement of the breath within the nostril. And by focusing on the movement of the breath in the nostril, the mind begins to still. So we do this because by focusing on sensation, we're turning our attention away from thought, because the mind cannot actually do two things at once. So the idea of multitasking, we've learned, is actually a myth. So the tummy rises and falls. We're just breathing easily and naturally. Mind begins to still and still be snagged by a thought form. So we catch ourselves thinking and just label as thinking. Then we can take a deep breath and release, and then just go back to the breath again. Following the breath. breath. Bringing our attention to the bottom of our feet, the top of our feet, up the leg, to the knees. Sometimes in sitting, we can have a slight twist to the knee, so release that. Bring our attention to our sit bones. Sit bones to the chair. So the spine is erect, balanced. Move the sit bones, but free of tension. Again, the tummy rises and falls. Shoulders slightly back, chin slightly tilted down. Head balanced over the spine. And breathe. Breathe together, and on the exhale, we're going to release the facial muscles. So taking a breath, feel the release. Cheeks drop, eyebrows drop, following the breath. Bring our attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril. See if you can detect the movement of the breath on your upper lip with the exhale. Each exhale, releasing a little deeper. One more deep breath together. Release. Focusing now on the exhale as we move into the silence for about 10 minutes. transition gently back into the room, staying with the breath. We see the flame of the divine in our heart center. Allowing the breath to fan this flame, to grow in strength, in radiance, light that illuminates rather than consumes. So we allow ourselves to breathe into this light, knowing that with each in-breath, this light is expanding beyond the heart to this ball of light, this ball of love, extending beyond the torso. We see ourselves sitting in this field of light and love, and we feel our heart opening, expanding, growing. And this, from this place of an expanded heart, then we know that this heart, this awareness is big enough to contain anyone or anything that up until now we may have been in conflict with. That we feel this light bringing itself to those places of shadow within, bringing light, those places that up until now we may have avoided for whatever reason. So we breathe into this light one more time. Releasing. Knowing that energetically, from every atom, every molecule, every cell, every organ, every bone, every sinew is aligning with this energetic of light and love, is attuning to the energetic of this light and love, that this vibration is attuning not only our heart, but our mind as well, to ways of being that have within them a sense of peace, of serenity, well-being, a deep, abiding sense of knowing that all is well. So we take one more breath. And we release any cares, concerns, intentions, aspirations we may have brought with us tonight. We're releasing it all now into this field of light and love, knowing that in doing so, we are releasing it upon this law of mind that automatically impresses itself upon that aspect of the mind, of the divine, that knows only to say yes as the law of its own being. So we just release it all now with deep gratitude and confidence, knowing it is done, knowing it is so. So we know further for this evening that as we leave here tonight, we arrive home safely and in good order, making our way through our nightly routines, finding our way to our bed. As the head hits the pillow, we drift off easily and effortlessly to sleep, sleeping deeply, restfully, dreaming sweet dreams. And we awaken in the morning feeling fully rested, revitalized, revived, with a sense of vim and vigor and excitement for the day. So with one more conscious breath, exhale, feeling that final release, knowing it is done, knowing it is so. Together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us here in the room as well. We are on live again at 10:30 on Sunday morning, where we'll have Teresa James as a musical inspiration. I'll be on deck speaking, along with some wonderful presiders. So if you join us online, be sure to use the chat. There'll be folks joining you on there. If you're local, come on in. We also go at 9 o'clock if you like an earlier service. And so we have a good time. So until then, know that you're loved. Peace and blessings. We'll see you soon.